The following podcast is a next level production.
Well, not that I care about your opinion, but if I were to improve myself, how would I do it?
First, let's sharpen your reflexes. Practice makes perfect. Stand there. When you're fast enough to catch this ball, you will have succeeded.
Why not? Okay. But just so you know, I have the hand-eye coordination of a drunk kitten. Ah, see? Ha ha!
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I am Robert.
And this episode, we're going to be covering Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. So, Episode 7 is entitled Auf Wiedersehen, and Episode 8 being Wedding at the End of the World. So, at first, we're going to start off with Season 3, Episode 7, Auf Wiedersehen. With that, the actual synopsis of that particular episode is in 1989, Lila digs up one of her mother's secrets. The families join forces to fight the Kugelblitz. Reginald teaches Klaus to harness his powers, which is very much enough said. This is literally all it is within the actual episode, which is very true.
Right.
And is there any initial thoughts that you want to talk about, Rob, before we get into this?
No, just, I always find the character Klaus to be, at first I didn't like that character, and now it's just, I love his character, especially.
It's so entertaining.
It's entertaining, especially with all the stuff that he did in this episode.
Yes.
I just thought it was just very funny.
Yeah, and I just enjoyed the overall aspect of this particular episode, because you got Klaus and Reginald going on a road trip. Now, mind you, it's his father, not his father, but he's trying to make him his father. We got turmoil within the Umbrella Academy family itself between Victor and Allison, and a little bit with Luther.
Right.
And then on top of that, the family's checking out what's going on within the basement due to Mom, the robot, who we should have been suspicious of from the very beginning of the season, because when she started going kind of chaotic and tweaking and her eyes starts bulging and popping out and glowing, that's kind of alarms right there, especially when they knew their mom, or quote unquote mom, is a robot.
It's just one of those things. Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things when you look at the episode, you're like, okay, everybody's fighting among each other that they don't even realize all the other shit that's going to happen, around
exactly.
them. So,
and it's not just their each own family, like the Umbrellas amongst themselves, but also the Sparrows themselves, and then the Sparrows against the Umbrellas, because there's that whole Ben wanting to take over and like attack the Umbrellas. Correct. And he has this he's got that dastardly, he doesn't have a mustache or anything, but you would think he would twirl it and do that. But, come towards the end of the season, he does come around.
Yes.
But he does realize everybody does favor the other Ben that was in the Umbrellas in comparison to him. Then we get, Luther, pronouncing an engagement, and
which is really nice. And then you see who's the other chick that he was in love with?
Allison.
Yeah. So you can't tell whether Allison is jealous of that or if she's
changing.
Yeah, she's changing so much or she is just still mad.
I think she's just mad at her own life.
I think that's
everything that she's lost, and she has nothing stable, whether it be within her own family, her own love life. She's lost so much, and she's taking it out on everybody. And with that, her powers are expanding to the point where Harland actually changed that the last episode
Right.
when Victor and Harlan were together, but then Allison winds up killing Harlan at the very end, which was sad.
No, I found that it's funny. I found this episode interesting on like all the turmoil behind, all the, it's a dysfunctional, it's like saying Dad had a secret family.
That is true.
That's basically what it was. Dad had a secret family, and now we're dealing with the repercussions of trying to merge both families together.
Yeah.
And so it's
But Dad is an alien and adopted all these other kids, so we're not related, but we are related. But...
Exactly. and it's just seeing and like just again just like the turmoil and the dynamic of the whole home and everything, and so it's interesting. But you're right, like she is changing a lot.
Yeah.
And I think just her anger towards everybody, I think
anger towards Victor,
right,
anger towards the truth of what happened,
exactly,
and the anger towards the rest of the family that are moving on and going on about their life because she can't move on herself, because she can't find some sort of focal point, somebody to ground her. Correct. At that point. And it's a character that is in deep struggle and feels like they're drowning, but they're pulling everybody else down at the same time. But they're having a hard time explaining it.
Right.
It's a character that I do enjoy in the sense that, for the longest time, she was pretty much the anchor of the family of reason. And within the past 2 seasons, she's been being pulled further down because she lost so much.
Right.
Whether
I'll be interested in because I never read the source book, the comic book, or anything like that.
Same here. Yeah, a lot of the source material is been changed or adapted.
Right.
But the writing within the show itself, just like with The Boys, as you were on before and we covered, it's very different. But
right.
It actually does work with the writing ability of the people that adapt the comic, these characters and stories into what we see on the show.
Right.
And we're only getting one more season. Good.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, because I know that who's the kid that plays the older man, who is that is it 5?
Oh, 5? Yes.
So
he's in his mid to late 20s.
Well, it's funny because when he first started with the whole show in the season 1, he looks so young.
Yes.
And you could just see that he's just getting so much older. So they're just they're doing the same thing like they did with
with Strange Indeed.
Yeah,
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Where all the actors already look way too grown for something that's supposed to be happening almost within the same,
continuity,
a few months or, in that world. So,
all right. Well, with that, we'll move into our top points that we love about the episode itself. So I'll start off with mine. And the first one would be Lila's turmoil of losing her mother and having to find more briefcases from the commission. And she goes to the commission. She winds up looking at this thing on repeat of her mother getting killed, literally, and it's due to the I guess her being rejected by Diego and then being stuck at the commission at this point,
right,
kind of like in jail. But she winds up killing a lot of people, and she's got this thing which looks like a videotape on loop of her mother. But then she winds up saying, hey, get me out of here. And okay. And they wind up sending her to where she needs to, which she knew that there was a hidden briefcase in Berlin in the mid-'80s at the time of the Berlin Wall crashing down. And then she gets the note in the briefcase from her mother, and then she's able to do whatever she needs. But we find her playing drums in a new wave German band at that time. living a life of drugs and rock and roll, which is where we wind up seeing Stan, who she was stuck with because the singer who she was involved with, I guess, he's kind of bisexual. But they wound up, she winds up seeing this kid saying, hey, you want to have fun? Let's screw around with somebody I know, which is Diego. And then that's when the whole history of how she drops Stan in Diego's lap and states, you have a son, and then that's where we get that whole history. Yeah, because she wanted to.
It's a messed up thing. She just wanted to see if he could be a good dad, and I was like, "What kind of shit is that?"
She's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, but they are right for each other.
Oh, that is true. They're
definitely right for each other on that. So. Yeah, my favorite part was Klaus training
with Reginald.
Yeah, every time he would get hit by a car or something like that, I thought it was just one of the funniest freaking scenes. Every time he would get hit, you could just see that he just didn't want to. Towards the end, he was looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, he was so showing like such enthusiasm because Reginald was like coaxing him more. He got it down to minutes of every time he would reanimate and come back to life. And it would be down to literally within a minute or seconds.
Yeah.
And Reginald was having so much fun at this. And Reginald was off his meds at that point. And that's because the Sparrows were literally drugging him to keep him at bay so he wouldn't be. But he was literally more enthused. He wasn't. I forget the show that. They were watching TJ Hooker together.
Right.
Of all things, him and Klaus at one point, because that's all that Reginald had to look forward to. But this gave Reginald like some sort of ambition to do something. And we got kind of sort of the flashback of him in the mausoleum when Klaus was dead.
Right.
Pretty much with the same thing within like the back trunk of a car and him leaving him dead in there. Right. And then constantly being hit by a bus, car, multiple of, and and then I looked at the tracking record as he was writing them down. He would say 01, 02, 03, which is like 1, 2, 3. It got down to almost like 30.
Right.
To the point where he narrowed it down where Klaus could reanimate fast.
Yeah. No, it was that
wasn't the only test that Reginald wound up doing during this time, but it was. But the thing was, you could see Klaus enjoying it, Reginald enjoying it, them getting along, and Klaus feeling of I have a father.
Yes. No, exactly. He just wanted to. He really wanted to connect, and he wants everybody else to connect with Reginald. So
yeah,
but I thought what was interesting about those scenes is as I'm watching it, I'm laughing, but then it occurred to me, I went, wait a minute, not a single person has stopped the car and gotten out and said, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
It was like, no, just hit him, keep on going.
Yep. Yep.
And I was like, not a single person said, hey, maybe I should stop. So I thought that part was really funny. Do you realize that actor that plays Klaus? You and I were talking about, of course, The Mummy. In one of it, and he had a relationship with Sophia Boutella.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was looking at his bio. I was like, oh, look at that! Supernatural. One person that does supernatural stuff, and another one.
It works.
It works.
Well, you have to be strange to play those parts.
Robert Sheehan. I should have known his name because my name, Robert. So
Robert Sheehan. Yep.
Yeah. No, but he's great. He's absolutely to me. He's like my favorite characters out of there are Klaus and Number 5. Those would be my two favorite characters.
I would say the same. Offshoots would be Lila and Diego.
Yeah, Lila's great. She is just a freaking nut.
Yeah.
So
and I've seen that actress before too, by the way.
She has been. Where has she been in? I'm trying to figure it out. Wasn't she in Slumdog Millionaire? No.
Yeah, I think she played a secondary character to that. But there's a Christmas movie that I do love that came out about 3 to 4 years ago called Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke. And she plays Emilia Clarke's friend in that movie where she has to stay over at her house.
Ah, okay.
At one point. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. She's a beautiful Indian woman, and Indian British, I would say, because she's got that English accent, heavy English accent, and that's real, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
Yeah, she graduated from the Oxford School of Drama. So, and she's actually going to be in the new Barbie movie,
which will be interesting. Maybe she plays a Hindi Barbie. Or maybe Hindi American Barbie, which would be great because my friend Sonica, who I know years ago, loved the idea of having an Indian style Barbie, which would be amazing to see on screen. It's like Americanized one.
Right.
You don't have the right colors in your eyes. Sonica would do that though with a heavy Indian accent, but she loved the idea of putting on makeup and everything. Such a lovely woman.
Yeah. So I just looked up her bio for film, and no, she was not in Slumdog Millionaire. She was in Red Notice.
Red Notice, yes.
Yeah, but no, she started actually in 2015. So
yeah, it was. Okay. She started later, but very recently in film. But she did make an impact on this show.
Yeah, no, she's freaking phenomenal in this show. I love her character. I just liked her don't give a shit attitude of everything that she does, which I think is great. Yeah, and I like the fact that she's such a perfect match.
Yeah, definitely for Diego, the character is definitely Diego. A perfect match. She just basically challenges him all the time.
Yeah,
and he still tries to struggle through because he just loves her so much. Yeah, and he has a hard time dealing with that. And it wasn't until like pretty much at the end of this episode that
if you think about it, Diego is like that type of person where he is just this narcissistic,
Well, he's all out there for the violence.
Yeah, and so who else can actually put up with something like that except her?
Yeah, somebody who's crazy, but they were also in Crazy Pants City and the asylum together. Well, another one for me would be the argument between Victor and Allison. Now, this was heated, and this was all about Harlan in front of both families, and that's when Allison pretty much states flat out she killed Harlan. And the reason why she killed Harlan was because basically the Umbrella's family, their mothers were killed by Harlan.
Right.
Something that he did unwillingly. It wasn't something done consciously. He just did it. It was just out of losing his own mother in itself. And him trying to reach out for Victor or Vanya at that time. And he couldn't find them at that time because they were somewhere else in a different time. And they were kind of locked. And then the Sparrow Academy came into fruition based upon what Reginald encountered back then when they went back in time. And he kind of got rid of the idea. And Steve has a great theory about why there's no there were like X amount of children and why X amount of children were gone.
Right.
He brought it up in the last podcast when we covered this. So hopefully when Steve comes back on 9 and 10 with us, he could just like bring it all to fruition, because I know he'll have his memories and thoughts all together and collected. That way we could wrap up this whole season and move forward as we choose to, because we're going to cover all of season 1 of Peacemaker at a later time. But
Yeah, I was the one thing another thing that I took away from this, I was very surprised on how good the effects were for the end of the world.
oh yeah,
I was really surprised on that. I was like, they did a pretty good job on that. I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah, I think they sprung a lot of the effects for the last 3 episodes total.
Yeah, no, you know what? And I thought about that too. I said, well, there's a lot of effects going on here, so they probably put all their eggs in that basket right there.
They had to, because they
yeah.
want to get that climactic feeling, so that way they could get a season 4.
Correct.
And season 4 is going to be the last. Yes, listeners, it's been confirmed. Season 4 will be the last of the Umbrella Academy. But I'm glad that they're actually rounding out the series and not just ending it at a one stop like most shows do.
Right.
Yeah. They end it and then they rush to create stories to end and finalize the series itself.
Correct.
Dead to Me was another one. I was hoping for more, but with Christina Applegate's sickness,
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a very interesting show.
So what's wrong with Christina Applegate?
She's got MS.
Oh,
in real life, but they've only did 3 seasons. The 3rd season is the last, and they wrapped it up and it's completed. It's got Linda Cardellini in it, James Marsders, who is in X-Men, who played Cyclops.
Oh yes,
and a slew of other actors that are talented in it. It's a dramedy in a sense that there's a lot of humor in it, but it's kind of tragic. But they did very well. But you could see towards the end of filming of season 3 how is like a physical toll on Christina Applegate, and I'm glad that she went out on her own terms when it came to this is it. This is what I'm going to end my career with. And I thought it was a very good show. Now, mind you, we're kind of variation, on tangent and going away from what we normally talk about. But it's another thing that I do enjoy, like as a drama or comedy that's out there too, everybody.
Right.
So if you want Dead to Me, you can find it on Netflix, and it's got Christina Applegate, Linda Cardellini. They play 2 main characters within it, and James Marsters. You could catch the whole series at this point.
Okay.
But if you want to listen to a companion podcast, go to Podcastica and just go to Dead to Me Cast.
Dead to Me Cast? Okay.
Yeah, and they cover that too. Jason, Penny, and Jade covered that. They just finished it up recently. So if you're going to watch the show, watch episodically and just listen to them. I think they maybe do 2 episodes per podcast. So towards the 3rd season. But it's really good. Good companion series. But other than that, they when it comes to this, there are a lot of cool things that happen, and it just gave me kind of flavors of that within how people are within the drama and the comedy of the show itself. Okay. And they do it so well, even though it's fictitious. Another favorite of mine would be, of all things, this is the funniest part of it. At the very end, Luther asking Sloane to marry him on the roof. It was a great way to end that episode, I thought. Especially during the end of the world, because you see everything decaying in there.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's I always, again, I find the dynamic between everybody, but it's just more of how you could be so calm if with the world ending sometimes. And like the way they carry on, you would think that they'll be freaking out a lot more, and they're not, or at least not the way we, I think, would. So but that's why that part, like, when he did that, everybody's just very chilled on the rooftop. So
and we get another happy ending too, with Lila telling Diego that she's pregnant.
Yeah. And that, she said that the other kid was just to test him. Again,
Stan was there just to test him, but she still misses him.
That is so messed up.
It is so messed up. It's just like that was her test, and and even Diego says it, but he kind of like stated, he goes, we still don't have Stan.
Yeah.
And it shows the compassion between both of them. She goes, I miss him, and it's there. And she knew right then it's like he would be a great dad. There's hopes. In my feeling, as grim as it is, there is hopes for these two to being good parents, as crazy as they both are.
I would love to see like just probably like a what I would say just kind of an offshoot on just like just like maybe a limited series on just those two,
Diego and Stan.
being parents.
Oh, Lila and Diego.
Diego being parents and stuff like that, and just kind of seeing all the crap that they go through, and you kind of say to yourself, "Oh my God, this poor child. I mean, what's going to happen?"
No, I don't think it's the poor child. I think with them being special as they are, as being enhanced,
right?
Just to use that word or term, think of a child having explosive diapers.
It'll probably be like a live version of The Incredibles. With,
literally
with Jack.
Jack. Yeah, there you go. But we got those two really good feelings at the very end of the episode, but we also get another sense of dread.
Right.
During this, you had the families come together within it, which is another favorite of mine. You see them all, Ben shows up to his own chambers where Victor is crying after his his like argument with Allison.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he gives you that whole "please don't get tears on my bed" emo. It sounds exactly like who you are, blah blah blah. You can't really resolve these issues with your own family. You're kind of weak, which kind of makes Victor step up, which is pretty cool, because then Victor winds up going downstairs. And they realize, because between both families, they realized that in order to get the Kugelblitz contained, they had to do that with all of them, which were key powers. Unfortunately, one is dead. And Victor doesn't want to partake in it. You got Sloane, you got Christopher, you got Lila.
Right.
And all of them in their powers combined, because Lila will mimic whatever Victor can do, and they can both contain it, and Sloane could just literally isolate, and then Christopher would just basically contain everything.
Right.
To do it. So they are able to do this. And it was cool to see them do this whole containment situation, almost like a Ghostbusters thing, where they're able to contain this explosion, this Kugelblitz. They do it. And the funniest part out of it is at the very end, everything gets into Christopher, and he kind of shakes and rumbles, and then he farts. But at the very end, as Fee and Ben are talking about the Umbrellas and the Sparrows as they are as families, and how they are trying to come together, there's a clink of a glass. And when Fee is, I look at her as, I said it to Steve before, the sister of the evil guy in The Crow, who is blinded at the end of the Crow movie, if you remember. She talks to the crows.
Mm-hmm.
She gets all the crows, and that's who is overseeing during the Umbrella Academy. Fee, that is. She winds up clinking her champagne glass on Christopher, and then Christopher starts shaking, erupting, and it explodes the Kugelblitz, and that's how it ends. And such an explosive ending. But unfortunately, we lose Christopher to this at this point.
Right.
We did not know what Christopher was saying half the time, but I always enjoyed what he had to say, because everything was kind of snarky and funny at the same time. But yeah, that's how season 3, episode 7 ends, with Auf Wiedersehen.
Right.
But
Okay.
which leads us into
Season 8. I mean, season 8.
season
Episode.
8. Wow, that's a long one. No, season 3, episode 8, Wedding at the End of the World.
Right.
Yeah, and that particular synopsis
Says, with the universe collapsing around them, the gang gathers for a day of romance, awkwardness, and debauchery at the Hotel Obsidian.
Yep. And as we know, the Hotel Obsidian is pretty much a character unto itself, too, because we learned that within this particular episode.
Right.
From the very beginning, because we see Reginald creating the Hotel Obsidian. And it's kind of like a time-lapse thing,
right?
Like
That's
a documentary.
True, yeah.
And you start to realize he's the architect of this oblivion, so to speak, quote unquote.
Right.
Because literally he's creating oblivion.
And, well, I mean, when he sent like one of the cool things that, as you progress through the episodes, you kind of get to see all the little stories, of what they're doing. I thought, especially when he sends the soldiers down the secret tunnel and they are all slaughtered. It's just all these little things that you're like, holy crap, it's just like there's more and more to it. Yeah. And it just kind of sucks you right into it. So I thought that was interesting because it's like you were saying, you see Reginald, begin construction of the hotel, but then you see that part too. And you see that throughout the entire series. There's always something that, they know there's a hidden secret here. There's a hidden secret there.
A hidden room.
And a hidden room. And all these things just kind of are coming to to this point towards the end of the season, which I found very interesting.
The best part about this is, from what I remember, is that, regardless of seeing the time lapse of him creating it, we do see the White Buffalo room. Yep. We see the Plinko kind of game right there that opens up the room that Lila and Diego had to go through, where Diego lost his fingers.
Yeah.
Remember that. And then on top of that, they lose Stan that way as well. I think it's literally Reginald's Chamber of Secrets of the unknown and oblivion, as it were. And it's a way for him to trying to get home. Literally, it's an alien trying to get home, if you think about it, because we all know Reginald Hargreaves is an alien. And he's just been trying to get back, or if not, take over the universe. And
that's what surprised me about the whole thing. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Regardless, no matter what iteration of Reginald Hargreaves we get, he is evil. He's there to try to take over the world, whether it be hook or crook, with all these anomalies, which he calls his children, whether it be the umbrellas or the sparrows. But the one thing that he just doesn't get or understand is that he underestimates his own creations.
Right.
And those creations wind up retaliating because they're vengeful children against their stepfather, as it were, or adoptive father.
Right.
But I just love the irony within it and how it all unfolds, regardless of how many timelines. It's all explosive. We saw that in the first season with Vanya when she blows up everything.
Right.
We saw it in the second season when they change history and wind up going through and then changing that and destroying more stuff and then going into a completely different other timeline with other family involved. I'm just curious as to what we get in the fourth at this point, but we haven't gotten there yet.
It would be interesting to see how, because towards the end, you're like, at the end, you kind of see everything. We're getting way further than, than the other two, but what happened towards the end, you're like, oh, okay, so how is that? How are they going to, explain all that? So yeah, it's interesting.
We already talked about the cold opening, Reginald's plans. We already know what's going on. Let's talk about the whole family wedding, uniting both families together for Sloane and Luther.
Yes.
I thought just the bachelor party was just so much fun to watch.
I like watching them all dance, and it's funny because you could tell, and I've seen some behind the scenes stuff when it comes to like the actors dancing, and it's funny they're actually having a real good time.
Good time, yeah.
and that you could kind of see it through the filming of this, So when you see them dancing, there's actually like a really good time they're having, but when you see the behind the scenes, they're laughing their asses off, and it's like that just seems like a cool job.
I thought it was amazing. Plus, also the fact that Luther asks Victor to be his best man, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I was actually surprised on that one.
I was surprised too, because as much as Luther was against Vanya/Victor,
right,
in the first 2 seasons, because they destroyed the world,
right.
And destroyed the family at a certain point. The fact that he showed trust in him. And right. I thought that was so much right there, especially what Victor had gone through and changing who they are into what they are now. Right. And it was such a, obviously it was a sudden shift of character change, gender change, within the show, because it's either they or them when it comes to Elliot Page. But with this, they did it so drastically, but it did it smoothly. I thought for a lot of people, it was very sudden. To me, I felt it very natural, and with how the characters are and how messed up they are, I think they already adjusted to change, as it were, when Vanya says, "I'm Victor now."
Right.
But the fact that Luther accepts Victor as his brother and says, "You're my best man," and how fun it is to see them when I'm forgetting the songs that Luther does "Total Eclipse of the Heart," which is so awkward to watch when you see a guy in a big huge gorilla body do that.
Yeah.
And then Klaus
I have to
and
admit,
Five doing "I Had the Time of My Life."
Yeah, they have some great music on this show.
Throughout the years, they did, and I love the soundtrack of the show itself. I actually there is a Spotify playlist for you listeners that are out there called The Umbrella Academy. You can go check it out and subscribe to it. It's people that put in all the music, but they also give you other things that are similar to it. But the majority of it is the catalog of songs that they've used over the past 3 seasons. One of which was the space one when it came to Pogo. That one I loved. I'm forgetting the name of the artist and the music, but it was from the 80s.
Right.
I just love that song.
I keep saying to myself, I was like, man, their music budget is huge. I mean,
yeah, they're paying a lot to SAG-AFTRA and BMI and
everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, the music alone does tell a story within, and but also like I said, the karaoke for the bachelor party was fun to watch, and to see them all get together and get drunk and have a good time.
Not only that I like it, but I like the way Diego, takes a sip of the drink. And then as soon as he put it in, he spits it out. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Because they don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is, but it was just that look, and it reminded me of Will Smith in Men in Black when they went to visit that lady in the farm, and she offered him lemonade.
Oh yeah, and she put all the sugar in.
Right, and she's sitting, and he's sitting there, and like he takes it, and as soon as he takes that little taste, he just kind of spits it right back out. And when I saw Diego do that, I just started laughing because I was like, "Yep, that reminds me of that." It was just kind of a nice
reminiscence of that. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good take.
Yeah.
The one thing that made me laugh too within the episode is Klaus and Reginald just showing up at the hotel after their whole journey out into the world and him learning how to use his powers.
Right.
And talk about how, Reginald helped him with his powers outside. But of course, the marriage is against what Reggie wants. Once he learns of the marriage and what they're up to for both families and finds out that Reggie was not taking his pills, it's typical Reginald.
Right.
It's just him being Reginald, trying to play on the families as who they are from what he knows. He doesn't know much about the Umbrella Academy. He does know more about Sparrows because in this reality, he knows them best.
Right.
But he's lacking a lot of his children. They already lost Christopher. They lost Droopy Face. They lost the hot chick who spit venom.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I missed that chick. She was hot. And then who else? There's the number one from them was gone. All they got is Ben and Fee. That's all that they have is Ben and Fee.
Right.
And I think they lose Fee at this point.
They keep losing people.
They keep losing people. All that's left is Ben of that particular family and Sloan.
Yeah. And it's interesting how Ben looks at them. Like, the Umbrella Academy.
He's detesting them. I don't like them. And
yeah, but I think it's more because
they keep comparing
he's
other
comparing
Ben to him.
Well, not only that, but the fact that he sees how close they are.
Yeah. And he wants that deep down.
I think he does. I think like when you watch him, you could tell that he's somehow
jealous,
and he detests his own family for not being that way, but he will never say it.
No, exactly. I think you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, he would just never say it, but it's just something that's a closeness that I think that he wishes. And not only that, but also seeing Luther and what's the girl's name? The one that he marries?
Sloan.
He sees Sloan just kind of gravitate towards their side so easily.
Yeah, and he feels like he's losing something.
Yeah, he's losing, that too.
But I think through the course of the actual wedding party, though, he loosens up.
He does.
Yeah, and he feels a little bit.
Yeah, he does. It's just, but you still see that kind of like that, like that resentment, I guess, or something like that. So
I just enjoyed the fact that, during that the wedding party afterwards when they're eating, we mentioned it earlier with Luther he's saying to Sloan, "Oh, you're not going to eat that? I'll eat that." And he's like, typical Luther, he's going to eat everything because he's a big gorilla. We still forget he's got a gorilla's body with a human head and a man's waist.
Was that so? Okay, so here's a question, because again, like I never read the original comic book or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a mutant in that sense, or was he like? He was
always strong, but in this case, when Reginald fused the upper torso of the body to Luther, it literally just enhanced who he was and made him more.
So his
primitive.
his head was attached to a different body. Is that what it was?
His head was attached to the upper torso of a gorilla. The bottom half of him was human.
Oh.
So it's literally his arms, his chest, and torso were all gorilla. The rest of him was human.
All right. I mean, I was wondering What I mean, again, it's been a while since I've seen the other two, so I'm not sure if they covered those in the other seasons.
Yeah, they do explain it. That's
They
why,
do
because
explain
you can see his arms; they're all hairy. He's got big fingers and hands, but
Right.
the rest of him is kind of grayish. But you could see around his neck because he's a white man. He's
Right.
You know, I don't know if he was part of the British or German because they took these kids from all different areas, but he was definitely part of the white section.
Okay.
So, but the gorilla features were very much grayish and brownish
Right.
down below from his chest all the way down to his torso.
Hmm.
So maybe his legs. I don't know, but yeah, maybe you got the gorilla function of that too. I feel bad for the woman that has to get in bed with him, but they literally, it's like he's literally a lot gorilla, so he's got the feeding frenzy of I gotta eat like a heavy gorilla.
Yeah, I was
like
just
Planet
wondering
Apes.
about that because I know he's like, this huge,
Yeah.
character. So just wondering if he was merged or if he was just genetically altered.
He was genetically grafted with all this stuff from the gorilla.
Okay.
So he's not completely human, but he's not completely gorilla. He's half and half.
Right.
But the funny thing is that within that, you could see Reginald kind of staying away, and he's eating his fruit.
Yeah, I like the fact that Klaus was the one that actually was the the one that married both of them.
Yeah, that was the coolest part too. It was like, yeah, Klaus taking charge of the nuptials and getting wedding them together and saying it was meant to be, and Viva l'Apocalypse at the very end of it. The family on the dance floor, all of them, including Ben. It was something that was very much out of like a video game with the filming too. If you look at how it was, filmed, but the dance partners and who they take with one another as family to dance with one another is very interesting. Plus those that don't dance, meaning Victor and Five at times. And but you do see Lila, you see Diego, you see Sloan, you do see Luther together with Sloan. Allison is not dancing, so but Luther, I think Victor eventually. But it was kind of they do celebrate, and I thought it was very good. It is showing the families coming together, and I thought it was very good.
I like when Luther is eating, and all of a sudden he looks over at Sloane's plate and wants to get something out of her plate. She's just like looking. I was like, "You want my food?"
Yeah.
And I started laughing. You know why? Because I had that same reaction with my girlfriend when I first met her. I was about to and she like kind of looks at me like, "Why are you reaching into my plate?"
Oh, I've gotten that too, and with women I've dated too. It's like, no, you got yours. You can't eat mine.
Yours. Yeah, exactly. So when I saw that, it just kind of reminded. I was like, oh, now I get it.
And sometimes it's on my part too. It's like I'm picking from. Excuse me. You're like, you want my shrimp? You said you didn't want that.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw that and I just thought it was cute. When I saw it, I thought it was cute from them, and I was like, "Oh, that's what my girlfriend meant."
It's a typical relationship thing, whether it be both ways.
Correct.
It works both ways.
Exactly, but yeah, they started quick. Very early.
But it works, and it shows. Yeah, that is true love too, I guess. One thing that I wanted to point out too is the commiserating of both Ben and Allison during the wedding party. They were like two drunken sailors talking.
Yeah.
About the situations between the families and how they were, and it's just like, okay, they're meant to hang out together.
That is true. Yeah.
But we already mentioned that, Reginald was isolated from, both families during the wedding party.
Correct.
They all pretty much didn't want him there. There was so much hatred.
Yeah, they really didn't. I mean, which is surprising. Well, I mean, not surprising and surprising. I mean, because I mean, we're talking about Ben, right? So their Ben is so like the sweetheart of a guy.
Yes.
So I'm sure that they wish that this guy was just the same.
Well, even this Ben says towards the end how he feels like I could be your Ben. I want to be your kind of Ben because it sounds like he was such a great guy. And he really, it's like basically in a drunkenness saying like, yeah, I'm the jackass that you got.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's why you could tell that throughout the entire season, he just resents them so much. But
by this time,
he kind of breaks down and he just like, I wish I would have been that person instead of the person.
I want to be that guy that you talk about because I feel that way. Also within the wedding party too, with Reginald, when Diego introduces Lila to Reginald, Reginald agrees with Diego's taste in women, but then shuts it down, stating, "You would have been a stupendous father." Meaning that there's like this ultimate doom that Reginald has to state about Diego and Lila and everything else that's going on around them. And then Diego looks at Reginald with concern, meaning that, Reginald knows something that's gonna happen because he pretty much is like, yeah, I kind of laid out this whole apocalypse, you idiot.
Yeah, no, he like that's why, what is it? I think it was 5 who overhears Reginald
about his plan.
Right, doing a deal, with someone in the White Buffalo suite. So it's, that I found, it's like you were saying that I found interesting. It's like, oh, okay, this guy. It's just like the way he planned everything and the way and he just kind of sits there like a human being.
Yeah,
but in reality, he's just not from this world.
It's true. Well, he doesn't. He's an alien. I guess they don't have hearts. If they do, they have 2, and they're gifted to somebody else. I don't know.
Aliens either don't have a heart or they got more, or they don't have 1, they'll have 2 or 3.
So they do. All right. Well, then we had that very ending with Reginald giving his speech full of pleasantries, but to change things with 5, when Reginald basically gets 5 so drunk, he forces him into an elevator and captures him for his own.
I don't remember that part.
That's at the very end.
At the very end?
At the very end, he just tosses him in and locks him in to go up to his suite.
So, wait. Yeah, you're right. Like I said, I'm trying to remember some of the little details there. So,
yeah, Reginald kind of swoons everybody with his speech about the married couple and about family and how coming together. Blah blah blah. 5 is drinking more and more. I agree with that, Dad. Blah blah blah, and he kind of moves on.
Right.
The family gets together, have their little powwow, as it were, and 5 leaves for some reason. I'm thinking he had to go use the bathroom. Well, Reginald kind of throws him into an elevator.
Right. Now I remember. Yeah.
So
the one part I liked was I think we were talking about that, like how the whole group sits drunkenly at the courtyard.
Yeah.
As the Kublus consumes the city above them.
And they're just watching the whole...
They're just watching the whole thing, and Luther remarks that he finally has the family he's always dreamed of.
Yep.
And that was actually pretty cool. And it's funny because when I saw this, I was like, you know what? For some reason, I thought this was the season finale.
You would think, too. They could have ended it on here.
Right.
If the show was not re-upped for another season.
Well, the way they left it off with a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
With Luther over here. Oh, right. Luther overhearing Reginald in the Buffalo suite, plus, that part right there. But no, there were two more episodes, which
2 more episodes.
Actually, yeah.
But even the last episode, when we get to it, ladies and gentlemen, is very different. And they could easily have ended the series with just that one season alone. And
Correct.
I think whenever they did these seasons, they ended it in the sense of, hey, we're not going to get another season. So they left it so that if it just stopped at that point, okay, that's where it ends.
Right. I mean, nowadays you could say that a lot with a lot of the shows that are being shown on TV. Is like this might be the only season they get.
Yeah, because you don't know where the story's going to go or if the next money that's going to come for the project is going to come from.
No, exactly.
So they're looking ahead in the sense that if it ends, it ends. But, well, with that, that's pretty much our coverage with Season 3, Episode 8 of Umbrella Academy. I only have one quote when it came to this.
Okay.
Actually, I actually have other a few quotes from Episode 7, which I'll throw out there.
Go ahead.
Episode 7's quotes to start off with, Lila going, "Ding dong, the bitch is dead. May her daughter pay instead." And that was when she was at the commission and when she was approached by the heads of the commission at that time, the little guy who plays Pogo normally in the show
right.
with the glasses, and the lady, because she already took out half of their security crew and she's just watching her mother's death over and over again. And from who was formerly head of the commission.
Right.
So that was an interesting quote. Diego from Season 3, Episode 7 saying, "I didn't get this giving a mummy a hand job. I'm not losing more fingers." Referring to the room to Oblivion that him and Lila were previous in the last episode and Season 3, Episode 6. Because he lost the fingers fighting the other soldier guy or the samurai-style warrior guy that was cutting him up. So literally, if you remember now, everybody, he only has like 3 fingers left.
By the end of the entire thing, is just be a nub.
Yeah, exactly, right. But we'll see. We're gonna get to that when we get to that last episode because things change.
Right.
The last one I have for Season 3, Episode 7 would be Mom, the actual robot, saying, "You didn't tell me you were building a jail for God." And that was while both families were trying to contain the Google Blitz.
Right.
And that was a true telling, too, because, you got a robot talking the ideas of heresy at that point. And the only one that I have for Season 3, Episode 8 would be Ben saying, "It's Hadron, not Hardon, you moron." And that was his reference to Diego when Diego states that they just need to send the Google Blitz to space with the Hadron.
With the Hadron Collider, it is like the Hardon Collider.
Yep.
I remember hearing that, and then when he told him, because I was like, that was the first thing I was like, "You Hadron, you idiot!" And all of a sudden, he says the same thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I thought the same thing. No, I would say overall, I mean this season was actually very interesting.
Yeah.
I like the season. I like the show. I like all 3 seasons so far. I like the changes that they had. Sometimes it's a little confusing, and you get to the point where you're like, "Where the hell is this going?" And then they bring it in, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So, but they've had these were 2 good episodes.
Yeah, these were 2, and we got 2 more that are just amazing too to finalize out the Season 3. It's something that we'll be coming back to hopefully within the next week. Hopefully Steve will be back at the same time, so all 3 of us could talk about the last 2 episodes. Steve's been away for a while. He's been dealing with health issues, but also getting on the mend, as well as dealing, having fun with family too. He's been spending the holidays and having a good time.
Yeah,
he had some good getaways, which is great. He's feeling better, so more props to our friend Steve, who's out there, and will be coming back soon, definitely for Peacemaker. So we'll keep you guys apprised of what's going on. But For now, we didn't get any feedback because I really didn't put anything out there, and I'm sorry, folks and panelers that are out there, that you listeners. It's just that I've been wanting to get this stuff out, and we've been putting out episodes as we came. So you got Werewolf by Night, you got Guardians of the Galaxy, the Holiday Edition. I've been trying to get them out every few weeks or a couple of weeks while Steve's been away. But with dealing with Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, Sandman Cast, all that good stuff, and holidays with work, it's been busy. So my apologies to you. So if you're sticking with us with this and following through to the end of Umbrella Academy, thank you so much. But here these episodes are, and we are going to complete with the next episode for the last two of Umbrella Academy Season 3 for 9 and 10. And then we're going to go right into a full season, review about Peacemaker that was on HBO Max. So, you'll have
such a great show.
Yeah, you'll have Rob here and Steve and myself. Maybe another person will jump on if they want to. Yeah. Our friends that are out there, just to. I actually
look forward to revisiting that. Because I like that show so much. It was such a surprise.
It was over the top James Gunn, and we could all talk about the Suicide Squad that came out before it. Right. Because that kind of led into it, and we'll talk about the history behind it and why we get this Peacemaker show. So, but thank you, listeners, for and panelers, just for keeping up with this and that are continuing to listening. I'm seeing the downloads. I'm seeing the streaming. You guys are listening. So thank you for being there. I
want to give a sincere apology. I was not as ready as I should be for this podcast. Not because I didn't see the episode. It's just I saw them a while back ago. Yeah, and there were just things that I couldn't remember and things that I started remembering. But overall, I like this. But I could tell you for the next two episodes, I definitely will be
on point.
Be on point on that.
I was kind of leading the way, but as soon as you trigger certain thoughts, because it comes back. As soon as somebody mentions it, it's just as if we're in the same room and we're talking about this at work or something by the water cooler, and be like, hey, it's like, yes, I remember that.
Exactly.
And it's the coolest thing. That's the whole point of podcasting. But as far as with feedback, we didn't get anything because I didn't post anything, like I said. But if you do have any feedback, still send it in nonetheless. And to send feedback, as always, all you have to do is literally just go to our Facebook page, which would be facebook.com/Panels to Pixels podcast. Or Panels to Pixels, actually. No. So it's www.facebook.com/Panels to Pixels. You could go to our Twitter account, which would be @Panels2Pixels, which would be Panels, the number 2, and Pixels. If you want, you could just send an email, and that could be sent to panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels, 2 spelled out TO, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. You could just send out a texted email as normal, just written out, or you could just record your voice and send it in as an attachment, and we'll play it when we're on the next time when we record, and we'll definitely reference the episode that you were sending the feedback for. You could also go to our Instagram page, which would be @Panels2Pixels podcast, spelled out specifically, Panels2 spelled out TO Pixels podcast. And just to give you a little bit updated news, Panels to Pixels will be on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network come this year. Well, we're already in the new year, but give it another month or two, and we'll definitely have it on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network on the website itself. So welcome that. Ben gave me his all his best when it came to that and said, hey, just take it there. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know if that was the best or sympathies. but we do love Ben. And we also do recommend Wilhelm. We will
Absolutely.
always plug Wilhelm, too, for Ben. He's got a lot of interviews coming up for the Wilhelm podcast, just to give love to podcasts that are out there, as well as Podcastica with Run For Your Lives. They're making the transition over from Pirate Car Entertainment to Podcastica Network. So we're all great friends. I don't have to wish them the best because they are doing the best. Daphne and Paik have always been part of what I have done here, as well as what they do there, as well as what I do on Podcastica on occasion when I'm invited. So I hope to be invited on Run For Your Lives. It'd be fun to do that again. I haven't done one in a long time. But they're going to be on the Podcastica Network, which made a lot more sense, in my opinion. I had time to think about it. Paik has been on Podcastica,
Right.
about 5 or 6 years with Rima after Sean had left Strange Indeed, and then he got with Daphne to do Run For Your Lives, and then Daphne got more involved with Yellow Jackets, WTF, Handmaid's Tale cast,
Right.
and everything else. So it made more sense. So all the best to them. Obviously, you're going to probably hear them on here, probably on Adrenaline Cinema podcast, or maybe any other podcast that we do. So they're all welcome, as much as I would love to be part of what they're doing as well, because, yeah. We all like to integrate our friends into each other's podcasts, so you can hear everybody else, regardless, no matter what network. But with that, that's the news about that. Comic book related news. Well, Jeremy Renner apparently had a big accident recently. Who played Hawkeye in the Avengers series? And
I just heard about that.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus. He apparently had his.
It's a plow accident or something.
It was a plow
like that?
accident, and his legs were run over.
Oh, wow.
And he lost a lot of blood. He was in critical condition, but stable. All the best to Jeremy and what's going on there. Please get well and get better. We want to see you in more films. Obviously, an Academy Award nominee for The Hurt Locker, as well as there was another one there that I'm forgetting, but I'm sorry, Jeremy, if I forgot it. But you were always known as being Hawkeye, and you will still always be known as Hawkeye, regardless. All the best to you, and please get back on your feet. I'm hoping things get well for you. Rest, definitely rest. But it seems like things are going well as far as that, from what I read. As far as podcast recommendations, I've already mentioned it. Run For Your Lives. They're going to be on Podcastica. Podcastica's this is it's Showtime. It's going to be a movie based podcast, basically going to be covering anything movies wise. So Jason decided he wanted to do everything. Now, mind you, I gave him that opportunity a long time ago. We did Airplane on Adrenaline Cinema podcast, which is kind of way out of right wing for me. We had fun, Rima, him and I. But the cool thing about that with his idea and that thought process is that it could be anything that anybody brings up. So it could be drama, comedy, dramedy, action, adventure, fantasy, anything that gets your that thrills your activity within films. It could be all of the genres. So Jason's putting that out there, and they did Miracle on 34th Street to start off with the holiday season. They just did the new Glass Onion, which was a Knives Out movie.
I still have to see that. I've had so many people tell me how great it is.
I thought it was done very well. It's not like Knives Out, in my opinion, of how Knives Out really intrigued me. I thought this was a little bit more Clue.
Right.
More than anything. And it gave me those vibes, which made me like it even more.
Yeah, I've
fact
had a
that
lot of people say
humor
that,
in
that they liked it better than even the first one.
Yeah. And it's Showtime. Check that out. So they covered those two particular movies. With Pounds to Pixels, obviously you guys already heard the Marilyn Gigliotti interview that I just put out. It's on
Right.
YouTube. It's on the podcast. Marilyn was so gracious in order to give me that interview recently, just before the new year, and I was able to get it on New Year's Eve out to you guys. So thank you, Marilyn, for being there, and please go to all her stuff, her social media, as well as her website, if you're interested in booking her for anything, buying her merchandise, anything. They'll be on the convention circuit, still plugging out Clerks 3. We still have to do a Clerks 3 review here on Panels to the Pixels podcast. So maybe when Steve is back, we could actually do that just for fun. Get a round table going on. So whoever wants to come on that are friends could come on and we could just talk about it. I got to see it in the theaters with Michael Bellicos, as well as just before I did that, I actually did see it on streaming because I bought it on iTunes the night it came out. But I got offered the whole press thing in Westchester to go see it with Mike Bellicos. But
and you didn't see it?
The first time I saw it on iTunes.
Okay.
It dropped and I bought it.
Right.
And then I got called and said, hey, can't you come down to Jersey? And like, no, what's closest to you? And Mike Bellicos was going to be there. So with all the other press people, so I got to go.
Right.
So I got to see it, in Westchester.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And on a theater screen, at least. But at least it was the second or third time.
I'm still waiting to get press screenings myself, but that'll I'm sure will come with time.
It comes with time. Yeah, it's just a matter of knowing the right people.
Exactly.
But
I don't have that. What is it? I don't have that juice like you do.
It's not juice. It's just like I guess it's me annoying the hell out of people. I don't know. Annoying the hell out of the right people, I should say. Ben has real true press credentials. Me, I just know people and harass them. But well, what podcast recommendations do you want to offer, Rob, as well as what you're doing now?
Podcast recommendations, as always. I think I've actually mentioned this before. So I listened to a few, especially to try to stay up to date with like comic book news. Variant, the podcast is actually very good. They haven't been on as much as they normally are. They do have an amazing YouTube video, and they talk about every character you could think of out there. What's new? What's new in pop culture also. But they bunch of group of guys that they're pretty cool, and they do a pretty good show. So yeah, I enjoy that most of the time.
And what are you up to with Fantasy Picks Movie Edition?
Fantasy Picks, we are taking a hiatus right now. We will be back probably around the end of February or beginning of March. What we're going to do is, it was our 1 year that we just did. We just did the end of year review a few days ago. And so now what we're doing is we're going to take a little break, look at our entire season and just see what worked, what didn't work, and, and just come back with, a lot stronger with hopefully more consistency.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
you and I did the 2022's best and worst.
Best and worst of 2022. And it's funny because after we did that episode, I thought about like 10 more things that were like the worst things. And I was like, I wish I would have gotten that.
Yeah, I know, right? I kept throwing out the things that I liked, but did okay in the theater. And you're like, no, that's not how it is. No, it did terribly. I'm like,
that one
because you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
No, I was looking at the numbers. That's what it was.
Okay.
That's what I was. Because you know how it is. We could like something, but then you look at it and you go, oh, I didn't realize that was a Lost. Or I didn't realize that, on...
we could say that Black Adam did really do bad.
Yeah, like on Rotten Tomato, all of a sudden you'll see. Of course, like Rotten Tomatoes is just one of those grading websites that you really can't rely on that much. But like you'll see the critic score and then you see the audience score, and sometimes it is the complete opposite from each other. So so there are times that when I look at a movie and I was like, I really like that movie. I got to see whether the audience really liked it or the critics really liked it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I side more with the audience than the
same here.
critics sometimes.
Yeah.
But there are times where I could see where the critics are going and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So
Yeah, well, if they want really good critics, you could pay us. Kevin Smith will say, I don't get paid. I just say what I like.
Exactly.
Which is true, which is what Kevin does. And everybody keeps claiming that he gets paid. No, he doesn't get paid.
No,
Kevin's
not
just
at
a
all.
big, huge fanboy. He'll cry over anything.
No, he look, he's the same way as all of us.
He's a diehard fan.
He's a diehard fan, started as a diehard fan.
And still is a diehard fan.
Still is a diehard fan, except that, he's a diehard fan that now directs movies and
and does the IMDb vote at San Diego Comic-Con.
And he's world known, but he's still in the end, he's one of us.
He is.
So that's how I see it. He's just one of us. He's basically our representative.
Yeah, he is the Generation X representation.
Correct.
For current movies that are media that we all wanted to see as we grew up and are getting it as we are in our middle ages.
Yes. so yeah, no, I always, every time they say something about like that about Kevin Smith, I'm like, no, he's just, passionate guy.
Yeah.
That and unfortunately he gets a lot of slack sometimes because sometimes he'll say something and they'll take what he says and they'll just exaggerate it or something like that. And I've seen him to the point where, because Kevin seems to be a person that, he's always said, there's no reason for me to trash anybody or trash anybody's work or anything like that. And he normally tries to ignore what a lot of people say about him.
Yeah, he does.
I have seen him,
he defends himself every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and on occasion I see that, he just kind of had enough of people trashing him, so, and I don't blame him. The internet can be very vicious out there. So,
well, that's why he's got Mark Bernard, and Mark's really much the big barking dog that he needs on his side.
Right.
And I do agree with a lot of what Mark says at times when it comes to movie critiques.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I could side with both. Sometimes I'll listen to both. I'll listen to both of them, and then I'll be like,
in the middle between both of them.
Be in the middle. It's like, all right, yeah, I agree with him, but I also agree with Mark. So
it is true. Those two, I would love to get on a panel together just to see and just throw them some sort of trivia questions,
right,
and then see where they're divided. But
I would love to have, believe it or not, I would love to have Mark Bernard on my podcast, because since we review bad movies, he's very good at that.
Yes, he is.
So he's really,
very
really
opinionated, and
he's very good at that.
He doesn't care. So.
He doesn't care. So that's the beauty of it. I was like, oh, I will have you on my show anytime.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right. As you heard, Rob's been pretty much a staple here. And he will continue to be a staple here on and off in between Fantasy Picks being on hiatus. So here and Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So you'll be hearing Rob's voice here and there every once in a while.
Listen, now that the season is over, I'm not going to have much to do. So I'm going to be on everybody's podcast.
Yeah, well, you're already on for the remaining Oceans movies that Ben and I are going to do. And Ben's fine with it. So we're going to do Peacemaker Season 1 review, so there's probably something else.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
So we'll work on that. So you'll get to hear Rob's voice more and more. So he's not a stranger to this. He's been on while Steve's been gone and very helpful. And Steve does appreciate it and appreciates what I'm doing. And I do still love and appreciate Steve. He is coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, he is coming back. So
yes,
don't believe the words that people are saying out there. No, there's nobody saying any words. He's coming back. All right. Well, with that, that ends our show for this episode. So all I have to say is same podcast, different panel, different pixel. I'm Mark.
I am Robert.
And this was Panels to Pixels, and we'll see you on the next panel.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.